All right. Go on, Frank. You know the camera's on, don't you? Check that out. Joe Leigh here for Seconds Out with Frank Smith here at Matchroom Elite Boxing Gym in Romford. Frank, how are you?
Good, thank you, mate. How are you?
All good, all good. I thought it was just me here today. I knew you were here, so I thought I'd obviously catch you at some point, but I didn't realise it was a media dam, so I'm a bit surprised at the moment, but yeah, happy to be here.
It's good to see you here. I mean, I knew it was a media day. That's why I came to see you. They told me it was just you down here, so I thought I'd come.
I expected a lot of wow hydrates, so I didn't get a drink before I came down, and I've obviously had my fair share already. Obviously, we're here for Conor Benn, mainly. He's got a big fight. It's April the 1st tomorrow, so next month against Chris Van Heerden. We spoke about this in Nottingham, but just briefly, your thoughts on the fight, first of all?
Yeah, look, I think it's a good fight for him. I think Van Heerden's really an experienced fighter, and I think as Conor's still learning and developing, he's still young, he's still 25 years old. I think he's another step up for him, and he's going to learn a lot. Southpaw, a good test for him. So looking forward to it.
How much of a step up do you think this is from Conor's last fight against Chris Algieri?
I think Chris Algieri is the same. He's another experienced fighter, and he's going to learn more and more in all of these fights. They all bring different things to the table. Chris Algieri's been in there against the very best, and Van Heerden has as well. So I think it's just about growing, experiencing new things, and this is all going to help him because he wants to move quickly. He'll fight anyone. He'd fight anyone tomorrow, but it's about doing it at the right time and him getting the right experience. And that's why he's got the team around him to help him with that side.
And how likely would you say after this fight, once he goes into, like I've heard, I think you and Eddie say it's big fights from here on out afterwards. Is this kind of the last step on the ladder to world title kind of contention?
Yeah, and big names as well. He's like I said, he would have fought Kell Brook straight away. After Kell Brook's great win against Amir Khan. So he's willing to step into those fights. So for sure, get this out the way, and then summertime, looking for a big fight for him, 100%.
Why don't you think Kell Brook accepted that fight?
I don't know, to be honest. I'm not sure. I don't think Kell Brook's got many options. If you look at it, they're talking about Chris Eubank Jr. I don't think he should fight Chris Eubank Jr. because he's just too big for him. He's naturally too big for him. I think, Kell. I don't know. I think Kell should have taken the Conor fight, but so be it. Maybe in the future, that's one to look at. I also think Amir Khan's still a good fight. I know they're talking about Amir Khan at the minute, saying that he had a shoulder injury, I think was the word in the last fight. I still think that's a fight as well, but let's see.
Who would you say Kell Brook should fight then, if not Eubank or Conor Benn? Or not Conor Benn, because it seems very unlikely.
I think they were talking about Garcia. Was that one of the fight names? I think that's a good fight for him as well if they can make it happen. Just depends what he wants. I don't know what Kell Brook wants. Does he want to carry on for years, or does he just want one last payday? So, but I don't know. Because when you listen to it, sometimes it's like, he's not really that interested. But I think he's still got a lot left to give the sport. He's had a great career, but I still think he could have another 2 years in the sport. But we'll have to wait and see.
As for Amir Khan, how long do you think he's got left? It seems like he isn't retiring after all.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that Amir's not retiring. He's had these moments where he gets beat. He had it against Canelo. What was that? 5, 6 years, maybe 6, 7 years ago. So it's not like it changes his. He doesn't just go, "Oh, I'm finished now because I lost that." He's been through the losses. He's still got a hunger to do it. So fair play to him. He's still at the top. He's still at a great level of the sport. So let's see. I still think there's a future for Amir Khan as well. Maybe it's because he's been around for so long. How long has Amir Khan been professional for? I don't know. Yeah, a long time. But I think he's still got appetite to keep going.
Back to current matchroom fighters. Obviously, John Ryder fought recently at Ali Pali, beating Danny Jacobs. Eddie mentioned how the winner of Buatsi Richard could fight Canelo at the end of this year. Would you say out of John Ryder or the winner of that fight I just mentioned, it's more likely going to be John Ryder if Canelo comes to the UK this year?
Yeah, it's a possible fight. It just depends. Canelo wants to fight the best. He's shown that. He wants to go up to 175 and win. He's got a tough fight against Dimitri Bivol on May 7th. Then we've got another fight in September. But let's see how it plays out, because lots can happen in a month in this business, let alone 8 months. But I think they're all good fights if he wants to come over to the UK.
What would you say the likelihood is that he comes to the UK this year?
it's definitely something he's interested in. I know there was talk about Mexico as well. He hasn't fought in Mexico in a long time, so I know there was talk about that. So let's see how it plays out.
John Ryder, do you have a plan for him? If not Canelo, what's next? Obviously coming off the biggest win of his career.
Yeah, the aim is to get him out sort of late summer. He had a great win. He had a long camp for that fight against Danny Jacobs. It was a great win for him, the biggest win of his career. So the aim is to get him out, and I think it all plays into what's after that as well. So we need to make the right decisions for him. So I think let's see how the next month or two goes.
What are the names on the list at the moment for him?
Obviously, everyone's talking of the main point that he wants to look out for is the Canelo fight. But I think that plays into then what level of fight, what type of fight he'd go for in the summer. But I think that's where we have to see how things play there. It's an exciting time for the division as well. Lots going on. Got Andrade's moved up to 168. He's fighting Zach Parker in May. You got Lerone Richards as well, is at 168. So lots of opportunities, lots of fights there.
Quickly on Joe Cordina, obviously here at the gym as well. That Agawa fight, are we close to that?
Yeah, look, we're working. We obviously promoted Agawa's last fight, which was on the MSG undercard. And he's a real talent, but so is Joe Cordina, and it's a fight Joe's been looking for a long time. We're getting there with it, and all the details. Hopefully, we'll have some confirmation very soon.
Okay, just quickly, you brought up Zach Parker, Demetrius Andrade clashing with Richards Boazzi. So you won't be watching it live, of course, but how do you see that fight going? It's a good fight and at a big stadium as well.
I think Demetrius Andrade beats him. I think he's just levels above, but good luck to Zach Parker as well. But we've worked with Demetrius for a long time, and I think he goes there and gets the win. I don't think it matters where it is. So yeah, I think it's a good fight.
Are you disappointed with how obviously Andrade's contract runs out and you're not going to extend it?
Look, I know. Look, we've worked hard, but we just couldn't get the massive fights for him. It's been quite public that. It doesn't mean it's the end of working together, but it just means our current deal's up. So let's see how things play out. We've had a good relationship with him. We've delivered some good nights with him. Providence, when we went to his hometown, we had 6,000-7,000 people in there. Great atmosphere. And I'd like to think we kept him busy. It's been unfortunate he hasn't got the big names he wanted. But look, he's always shown he's willing to fight. He's coming over to Derby, to his backyard, to come and go for the interim 168 title. So let's see how things play out.
What were the fights you couldn't deliver?
No, I think ultimately, he always wanted the likes of GGG. Whether it was the Charlos, whether it was Canelo, those types of fights. He was always open to taking those fights. We saw him in the press conference with Canelo. So we've always tried to deliver those fights, but other things have played out. So, but he's still got a long time left in his career. So, it may not be the end of that road. You never know.
Right, let's skip to the end of April. Obviously, over at MSG, Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, the biggest fight in women's boxing history. How excited are you for that? First of all.
Yeah, can't wait. I mean, the ticket sales have been unbelievable. We're going to have a packed out, sold out night on April 30. Great undercard as well on there, but it's all topped by that huge fight, and a fight Katie really deserves, and Amanda as well. So I'm glad we can finally make that happen. You got Jesse Vargas, Liam Smith on the chief support on that card as well, which is great. You got Cruz Dizern. We've got another big UK fight going on there as well. So it's going to be a big card out there.
Would you say the winner of that is one of the greatest to ever do it as a female? Obviously, Katie Taylor, you'd have to say definitely. But if Amanda Serrano wins?
I think the winner of that fight is the top two. Yeah, 100%. It's the top two. So I think there's no argument about that at all. And I think Katie Taylor's shown it time and time again. Amanda Serrano's done a great job throughout her career, and this is the time they're getting the respect. Not that they haven't, but they deserve all the respect. For what they've done for the sport. So massive fight, and there's going to be it's going to be fireworks on the night.
And obviously, all the credit will be going to them because the headline at MSG is something we haven't seen before. Last of all, why do you think it's a bigger fight than Shields Marshall? Obviously, you get your promotional game on and have your say.
I don't think anyone knows who Claressa Shields or Savannah Marshall are. You'll see at the weekend there'll be no one in Newcastle for Savannah Marshall. So they're not. I'm not saying it doesn't. It's an amazing fight, but I'm saying commercially, in terms of being a bigger fight, Taylor and Serrano mean so much more for the sport. Not even women's boxing, but for the sport as a whole. I don't think you can even compare the two fights, in my opinion.
But if it happened in Newcastle, I'm sure that'd sell out. It'll still do well.
Yeah, it would do well, but we're talking about a fight headline in Madison Square Garden, the most famous venue in the world, against Katie Taylor, who has really changed the face of the sport, and Amanda Serrano, who's done so, 7-time world champion, I think. I just don't think Savannah Marshall against Claressa Shields is anywhere near as big. I think it's entertaining. I'm not questioning that, but I don't think you can compare those two fights, in my opinion.
Well, I appreciate your time, Frank. And yeah, have a good month in April. It's a big one.
Yeah, very exciting. April, May. We've got stuff to announce for June as well. There's lots going on. It's never been better for boxing. So many people involved, which is good. And got to keep going.
Man, thanks for that. Nice.